Good day to you and welcome to my gardens. Today I'm sharing some tips on starting your fall gardens. I'm Spenta. I love nature. I'm a cultivator. I enjoy gardening. I'm a landscaper, and this is what I do at all times. So I'd like to share some tips with you on how you can make your fall gardens grow beautiful and maximize your space and grow the best produce possible, including your plants that you choose and everything else that goes with it. One is to check your soil. Another is to check your sunlight. As you notice, your soil and composition of your soil matters. The amount of nitrogen in your soil matters. The sunlight, it matters that in the autumn season, in the fall season, the sunlight actually changes its position, so you need to check into that it's not going to give you the same adequate sunlight that it was giving you in the summer if you were already gardening in the summertime. Another tip is to choose your plants and seeds wisely. I'll get into that in more detail with you. You don't want to overcrowd your gardens, and I will get with you about that later here in this video. Another one is to create your beds, make your beds and design them however you'd like to, and add your compost, which I use a homemade compost. I'll get with that in just a minute. I'll revisit all the tips. And another is to provide protection for your plants. If you have plants that you're planting now, or if you have plants that you've planted early on in the season and you'd like to continue keeping them, or if you have perennials. I have lots of perennials, and as you see, everything in my garden at the moment is perennial, evergreen. And that's what I enjoy doing, self-sufficient gardening. Again, I'm Spenta. I live in USDA Zone 7, and I am a cultivator. So if you have any questions or concerns about about the zone that you live in, and you'd like to ask about the plants that are best for your area, I will be able to answer them. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like my video, it definitely helps out, and I appreciate that from you. Also, don't forget to leave a comment about questions you have in regards to gardening. I will do my best to get back with you in a timely manner, whether that's a decade or not. Just kidding. I will get back with you. And I'd like to take another moment to thank my channel members, my fans, my subscribers, my family members, and you for being in stream with me today watching my gardening share. I love gardening, and it's definitely in my heart to garden. And I'll share my plants with you here in a little bit. Let's revisit some of my tips, okay? You need to check your soil. Your soil composition matters in what plants you purchase. Your plants may not make it, even though you're providing adequate sunlight and you're giving so much water to your plants. If you have no nutrition or proper amount of nitrogen versus phosphate composition in your I call it compost because I use compost. My own compost is my soil. So I will get to that too with you. Your soil composition does matter, and it helps with how your plants grow. It's very important. So I highly recommend that you have a neutral base soil. Okay, neutral has a pH of around 7. Check your sunlight. Again, during the autumn season, the fall season, well, the sun is at a different position, right? Because we're not getting enough sunlight in our gardens. That's because of the daylight being shorter. So check and make sure that the plants that you're planting are getting enough adequate sunlight. That's very important. Also, choose your plants and seeds wisely. What you're wanting to plant in the autumn season in your fall gardens, that really does matter. Mums are good, thyme is good, rosemary is good, just depends, you know. Pick companion plants, plants that do well together. Check out my video on companion planting. I love companion planting. It really works together, and it's amazing. Companion planting would be like planting a tomato, a pepper, and a basil next to each other. It's really great, and that's for the summer, of course, for my area. It gets very cold during the fall season here. Right now I'm at 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty good for me. Earlier in the morning it was 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So it'll warm up a little bit, but it's not going to get much warmer. And winters I've experienced negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 10, negative 16. -17. These are pretty cold climates, right? So you want to make sure you have your plants are being protected and they're being overwintered. If you have a plant that's already in your gardens, or if you have a fall plant, a garden plant, that one that's for the autumn, from the autumn, that you want to protect and save and overwinter, that is possible. Okay, and another is to make your own bed. Choosing seeds wisely. On choosing seeds wisely, for example, I know that lots of cabbage, kohlrabi, lots of carrots, I know that they don't need, I know they're asexual and do not need a pollinator to be present. So those are good plants and seeds to purchase. Bok choy, kohlrabi, cabbage, spinach, anything I can think of that's in the cabbage and the greens family, onions, beets, radish, they will do really good in the autumn season. They actually like to germinate, their seeds actually germinate when it's a little bit cooler. So the soil temperature matters on how your soil, on how your seeds germinate. So keep that in mind on seed germination. Soil temperature matters, so don't buy something that is meant to be for the summer season or the spring season. Most of the time though, if your weather is similar in spring and autumn, you'll have intermingling plants. I have daisies all year round, Shasta daisies. My mums actually make it. I'll share a video of my mums with you just right now. Here I'll share with you what my garden looks like and what I've done as far as cleaning. I've raked already. I've already added my own compost, which I did mention is 1/3 portion cow manure, 1/3 portion grass clippings from when I mow, and 1/3 portion is kitchen scraps that is organic. Veggies and fruit scraps from my kitchen, I add those into my compost and my compost becomes great. So it's an amazing compost, and you have to keep turning your compost. So make sure you water and turn your compost. Compost, the better, the more humidity you, I've learned, because I have a big composter, so the more humidity you add for your compost, it decomposes faster. So that's something to remember. Another thing is cleaning up old and so unwanted growth. Okay, well, a lot of squirrels tend to plant things everywhere, right? It's what they do. And so if you have squirrels, chipmunks, or anything else near your area, they're planting in your gardens as you go. So you need to make sure you take out the unwanted growth, because that's not what you planted in your gardens. Fall is the best time to add your homemade compost into your gardens, and that's what I've already done. Once again, I've added my own compost. Then I added mulch. Then I added natural mulch. So I add just regular cedar mulch, and then I added natural mulch, which means from cutting down a tree, having fresh mulch. I added fresh mulch, and then this was already added afterwards. Here is what's left over of my gardens. I'm going to share the front portion with you. I hope you've enjoyed my tips on starting your fall gardens, and I hope that you can have successful gardens. Let's get started on some of the items that I have, what it's doing right now, and right now is the middle of the autumn season for me. Again, I'm Spenta. I thank you for visiting me and being in stream with me. Your comments, likes, subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Don't forget to share my video and come back again next time. Visit my other content if you're new, and a big shout out to my members, my fans, and my super chatters. Let's go ahead and visit my gardens and what they look like right now. Okay. Here are some mums. I love mums in every color and aster. There is my thyme, my mint, my geranium, diplodenia, daisies, so bright, so bright. But as the leaves fall, I get an accumulation of leaves in my gardens. So there you go. That is an example of a plant that I've actually cleaned up because I'm going to overwinter. Overwintering is simple. You just add a lot of mulch in your area and make sure that you protect your plants. Lots of plants enjoy a clean area. Here is my iris. If you take a look at what my iris looked like prior to this, you will see that most were as large as that particular iris right there. However, I've cut them short to this amount and I will remulch. I will rake another time and then I will remulch. You see, it's so important. I cannot emphasize the importance of cleaning the dead leaves from your gardens. It allows more air to go through your gardens and you'll have better plants. Those iris plants came from 5-year iris plants. That's just because I cleaned the rhizome roots, it's the sides, and that's what they provided. That's what they provided. Now let's look right here at what this is here. Okay, let's get a close-up. This is my morning glory, and my morning glory, when it does this, it means that the fall season is here. If I get close to one, it's time to harvest my seeds. Morning glory is beautiful. I have it, it's purple. And morning glory starts to die back when the weather cools off, and I already hit the 30s, so the weather is cooling off. And that is what tends to happen. If I move over, I have my evergreen bush that's going on, but I want to tell you, I will save all my seeds. That's something I tend to do. I save seeds because it saves money. So if you are the type of person that you don't know if you're planting an annual versus a perennial, always keep your seeds. Keep your seeds, write down the date that it was planted, the date that it was harvested. Very important that you keep a calendar, a little pamphlet that tells you when you planted your items, so you know what to expect for next year. That helps you become also a self-sufficient gardener. I like to eat a lot of fresh herbs, so there is my mint. I have mint all over. I have so many herbs. I actually have a 12 o'clock herbal garden in the back that actually stays green all year round. It has rosemary, lavender, sage, thyme. I definitely enjoy it. This is my dianthus, and dianthus does really well. Dianthus is an edible flower, and those daisies are just so bright. So is that diplodenia. Very bright, doing very bright. You can see the leaves changing. It's done a really great job. Well, I'm Spenta, and I hope you enjoyed my video on tips on how to make your gardens grow beautiful during the fall. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments section. I thank you for visiting me, and I wish you a beautiful day.